On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks is arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus to a white man. What many don't know is that this was not her first incident with that particular bus driver, James Blake. In 1943, Parks had a confrontation with Blake. Keep in mind that blacks in Montgomery not only have to ride in the back of the bus, they aren't even allowed to pass through the white section on the way to the colored section. This means Parks and others have to step onto the bus, pay the fare, and then step back off the bus and re-enter through the rear doors. When Parks boarded Blake's bus in 1943, she passed through the white section to a seat in the colored section. Blake forced her to exit the bus, insisting that she must enter through the rear doors. After she got off and began making her way to those rear doors, Blake drove away without her. She vowed never to ride his bus again. On that fateful day 12 years later, however, Parks doesn't realize it's James Blake's bus. She pays her fare and then re-enters through the rear doors. She sits in the front of the colored section. But then one too many white people gets on the bus, and this causes that entire front row to have to move back. Well, Parks refuses. Blake calls the police, and Parks is arrested. This leads to the Montgomery bus boycott. Blacks in Montgomery refused to ride the bus for more than a year, walking to and from work, sometimes miles every day. Another fact many don't know about the Montgomery bus boycott is that this is also the event that makes Martin Luther King Jr. the leader of the civil rights movement. He's a young preacher in Montgomery at the time, and he takes the lead. A court decision overturns bus segregation on December 20th, 1956. The boycott ends, and blacks return to the buses. And the first time Rosa Parks gets back on a Montgomery bus, guess who the driver is? Yep, it's James Blake. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1779, George Washington establishes winter quarters for the Continental Army at Morristown, New Jersey. In 1824, the presidential election is turned over to the House of Representatives to decide. In 1913, Henry Ford installs the first moving assembly line for mass automobile production. In 1958, a fire at a Chicago school kills 92 students, leading to improved fire safety standards. In 1959, 12 nations signed the Antarctica Treaty, banning military activity and weapons testing. In 1990, the final hole is drilled for the first tunnel of the Channel, connecting Britain and France. In 2003, The Return of the King premieres and goes on to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. And now, it's time for our Today in History quiz. The execution of which radical abolitionist in 1859 helped lead to the American Civil War? William Lloyd Garrison, John Brown, Frederick Douglass, or William Wells Brown? Think you know the answer? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Find out if you're right tomorrow on Today in History.